Congress shall make no law respecting an establishment of religion, or prohibiting the free exercise thereof, or abridging the freedom of speech, or of the press, or the right of the people to peacefully assemble and petition the government for a redress of grievances. That was word for word the First Amendment to the Constitution that was adopted in 1791. Here it is in 2016, and we still go by the same First Amendment rights. That is just how important it is. Today, I want to discuss with you and try to persuade you how important our First Amendment rights are and that they're in violation. Explaining the First Amendment. It's basically down into 5 things: freedom of religion, freedom of speech, freedom of assembly, freedom of press, and the right to protest. What does the First Amendment mean to you? The First Amendment I just read to you word for word from the Constitution, but what does it actually personally mean to you? Martin Luther King Jr. says, "Our lives begin to end the day we become silent about the things that matter." For me, that basically sums up what the First Amendment means to me. I went on Facebook to ask other people because I wanted to hear what other people had to say. I personally identify as a Democrat, and I actually really enjoyed my friend Robin, who responded to mine, because she identifies herself as a Republican to Libertarian. For Robin, she says, "For me, the First Amendment guarantees our right to express opinions, no matter how unpopular they are, so long as they do not actually cause another measurable harm, such as child porn or slandering. I don't think it shelters us from others' reactions, but the government cannot prevent our expression." I also agree with her. That is spot on to what I believe the First Amendment means to me. Freedom of speech and press. Perhaps the most popular thing when people think of First Amendment rights. It is the right to express any opinions without censorship or restraint. This popular quote is usually thinks it's by Voltaire, but it's actually from a woman, Evelyn Beatrice Hall. "I do not agree with what you say, but I'll defend to the death your right to say it." This is so true about freedom of speech and press. It doesn't matter if it's something we like or even agree with, or even something that we think is bad and disrespectful. They have a right, and a constitutional right at that, to say it. Freedom of assembly and right to protest. The right to assembly guarantees our right to come together to express and pursue collective interests. That means if we want to get in a group together that all have the same interests, if they're bad or they're political in nature, we have a political right to do so. Constitutional right to do so. I'm currently in a group called the Pantsuit Nation. It's a liberal women's group, and others might see it as bad or something they don't like, but that is my freedom of assembly. The right to protest guarantees our right to peacefully come together and protest and address the government. That's right, the government. We are allowed to constitutionally right to say something about the government we want to. Right here you can see an example of freedom of assembly and right to protest. These are African American women in the 1960s during the Civil Rights Movement. They are peacefully protesting, demanding equal rights, freedom, integrated schools, and decent housing. Freedom of religion, a real big and iffy topic in America. In America, it says the right to choose a religion or no religion without interference by the government. That means in America, you don't have to be just Christian or just Muslim. There's no national religion. You can be any one of these religions or another one or no religion. It shouldn't matter, and the government cannot interfere or say anything about your beliefs. There's a double-edged sword that comes with freedom of speech, however. We have to take the good with the bad. And some might say, this is bad and this is good. Either way, it's a constitutional right to say so. And this is why I'm stressing how important it is. It doesn't matter if they say things bad or that we don't like or we think is ugly or disrespectful. It's their constitutional right to do so. This is Martin Luther King during the 1960s giving his "I Have a Dream" speech. This was his constitutional right to do so. This kind of right should not be taken away. Once we take away this right from these people, these rights will also be taken away. You might recognize this group as the Westboro Baptist Church. I can't think of anyone I personally know that like these people. But guess what? When they come out here with these ugly signs and protest things that we don't like military funerals, gay and lesbian rights, They have every single constitutional right to be there, and we should always defend that right. We must defend all forms of speech. If we don't believe in the freedom of expression for people we despise, we don't believe in it at all. This is so true. We can't just have our cake and eat it too. Because when people lose rights, everyone will lose rights. Constitutional. This right here is a picture of United States veterans protecting the peaceful protesters from the Dakota Access Pipeline. Constitutional. Constitutional. Colin Kaepernick of the San Francisco 49ers often kneels during the national anthem. We might not like it. We might think it's disrespectful, but it's constitutional. We must defend these rights. Is this constitutional? Do they look the same? They don't look the same, but they're both constitutional. This is Martin Luther King Jr. He was arrested for peacefully protesting in the 1960s. Not just once, but numerous times. Even though it was within his rights to do so, African Americans were often wrongly imprisoned and arrested. This is someone burning, or a group of people burning the United States flag. It looks wrong. It looks like something they should get in trouble for, but it's their constitutional right to do so. This is a group of peaceful, unarmed protesters being mazed and pepper sprayed by the police. If they were peaceful and unarmed and not causing any trouble or breaking any laws, this is unconstitutional for them to do so. The media here and just regular people recording, that's constitutional. You are allowed to do that. This is so important to know your rights so you know when they are being violated. Here is another picture of the Dakota Access Pipeline protesters. Again, protesting peacefully, which is in the First Amendment. Here are militarized police. Ways our First Amendment rights could be in danger. They're already in danger somewhat, as we find ourselves being violated with the police that were breaking up the peaceful protest, and also, again, on the Dakota Access Pipeline. I don't want to get political, and I'm not trying to bash anyone, but these are three great examples on how our future of First Amendment rights can be violated. Donald Trump has often threatened free press with lawsuits. Again, these are not things that have happened yet, but as he becomes president, if anything of these happen to get passed, there will be a violation of our Constitution, and we can't let that happen. Nobody should be allowed to burn the American flag. If they do, there must be consequences, perhaps loss of citizenship or a year in jail. Burning the flag is a terrible thing. My husband, he served in the United States Army and deployed to Iraq. We hate to see anything wrong happen to the flag. We don't let it touch the ground. We don't let it get ratted, anything. To seeing the flag burn, it hurts. It hurts in our heart. We do not like it, but we definitely know that they have the right to do so. Just had a very open and successful presidential election. Now professional protesters incited by the media are protesting. Very unfair. No, actually that's not true. It's plenty fair. It's so fair that it's constitutional. Get involved. Know your rights. Know the Constitution and the Bill of Rights. Have you read it lately? It's a little boring, I admit. And as I read it word for word at the beginning, it sounds really weird. And some of the words are words we don't even say anymore. But if you go to websites that take it and they break down the Bill of Rights and the Constitution, you can actually know your rights. And you might even read something and they're like, wow, is that really the law? And I think that is why some people see the burning flag and things like that. They think it's against the law because to us it looks so disrespectful and wrong. But it's honestly our constitutional right. We live in a country, if we lived in a country such as Libya and North Korea, I couldn't even stand here and give this speech. Well, I could. I could very well do this speech, but I would most likely be prosecuted and even killed. We have to keep our rights constitutional like our founding fathers wanted to. Like I said, it was written in 1791, and it hasn't been overturned yet. There's a reason for that, because they are our rights, and that is very important. My conclusion, I'm ending with another quote. I just really enjoy this one. It's by Supreme Court Justice William Douglas. Restriction of free thought and free speech is the most dangerous of all subversions. It is the one un-American act that can most easily defeat us. This man, a Supreme Court Justice, whose job on a daily basis is to interpret the Constitution and make sure things are right, thinks that the First Amendment rights, if they happen to get overturned or they're violated, he says it could easily defeat us. Defeat America. First Amendment rights. This right here, if this quote by this man right here doesn't persuade you the importance of your First Amendment rights and to defend them, I don't know what will. Here are just a few of the sources I used. The ConstitutionCenter.org is a great website. It gives you word for word the Constitution and the Bill of Rights, but it also breaks it down for you and shows you in layman's terms of what it actually means. The ALL.org, you can view many court cases, some that went to the Supreme Court, some others that were locally, that show when there was violation of First Amendment rights. The ACLU is a great organization to join. They often defend basic rights such as First Amendment rights, freedom of speech, freedom of religion, etc. I hope this really helped you learn a little bit. Not just learn, but even persuaded you to see the importance of First Amendment rights. Too many people have died, fought their blood shed for First Amendment rights. There are people still today signing up to join the armed forces because they realize how important First Amendment rights are, including people burning the flag. Thank you.